comfortable here on the ground. And let's just go ahead to begin and stretch ourselves entirely out. All right. So being cautious coming down so you don't overexert your abdominal wall, using your arms to help you down. But again, when we do come up and down from the ground, that is one of the activities that if you can keep doing it, it's going to keep you really strong and vibrant. It is like when we were a child, right? All the games that we used to play and all the things that we used to do. And then little by little, we stopped playing those games. And then when we do something, it's like, oh man, that's not so easy to do anymore. So I always wonder, is it just because we stopped playing the games and we stopped, doing those things, and then we kind of forgot, our muscles forgot how to do that. So if we can just keep doing things, in a smart way, that will really be good. So just pulling ourselves up and down from the ground is a good thing because, some of the people that our community aren't really able anymore to get down to the ground. So let's keep that skill, that strength. And as we're here, we can just realize too this polarity of our yoga practice. And so here we have our backs to the ground and our fronts facing up to the ceiling, through to the heavens. And then the polarity of our breath. So let's start to get into that, where we're breathing deep and long and inhaling in to that belly, letting it rise. Exhaling, letting it fall. And there's a polarity there, that rise and that fall. That filling in of our breath and our lungs, and that emptying. The inhale and the exhale. Few more of those. So just feel that freedom of our breath and that expansion, and then that containment as we exhale. Good. And then take your arms, slide them on the mat, pointing away from your head. Take your toes and point them away from your feet, your legs. Feel yourself stretch even more in through your abdominal cavity, in through your hips. Point through your toes and maybe squeeze into your glutes. Point in through your fingers, tucking that chin in to keep your spine, cervical and vertebral, all in alignment, really lengthening here. Maybe starting to feel that in the side body, toes lengthen, fingers lengthen, everything contracts. Your big inhale. Exhale, let yourself relax. Toes will fall out, heels will fall in. Slide your hands back down along your sides, palms down, okay? And taking both feet in. And let's walk our feet to the sides of our mat and take an internal rotation of our hips and our knees. Our knees are tented, touching one another. Flat feet on the outside of your mat. And instead of making this real restorative like we might at the end, let's put a little oomph into it by letting our knees press together. Press down with your feet, starting there maybe, taking that energy up into your knees. Now do you feel that coming down through your thighs, into your hips? Press some more isometrically, okay? And take that energy into your core, okay? Got that? Everybody squeezing. Squeeze. And exhale. Take it so that you relax. Did you notice when you did that, that when you were squeezing, the lower spine went into the mat? When I released, that lower spine came back to that natural curve. So we're going to do that now. Instead of holding, we're going to take it with our breath. And we are doing pelvic pulses, really, is what we're going to be doing. So we're going to squeeze with the knees, push with our feet, press down into the lumbar spine, and then exhale, slowly releasing that lumbar spine and that squeeze. And then inhale, really pull down, press in, exhale. Feel that rocking of the pelvic region. Keep going. Squeeze, press down, exhale. If you want, you can exhale through your mouth if that feels good. Shift and let go. 2 more, please. Press the knees together, feet down, lumbar spine disappears. Exhale. Una vez más. And release. Walk your feet in. And so now the legs are together, the ankles are together, the feet are together, and let's squeeze here. Take your arms up. Take your hands together. So I'm looking at my hands, fingers pointing towards the ceiling. I'm going to press my hands together here, right? Hands are together isometrically, coming into themselves. Knees are pressing together. Feet, ankles, thighs may not touch, but if they do, let them squeeze together. Press and press and press. And exhale, release your hands down. Let your knees open. Let your feet come together into a reclined cobbler's pose here. Reclined butterfly, reclined Urdhva Konasana. So all of these different names for just getting some hip external rotation going. If this is a lot for you, you can take and hold underneath your thighs if you're just feeling like it's just a bit much to really let gravity go. If you want more, you take your hands on the inside of your thighs. All right, so this is never a contest against anyone or ourselves. It's just where on the spectrum, where is it in our bodies that we want to go today? The other way to make it more restorative would be to put blocks underneath the outside of your thighs. So decide where you want to be right now. And let's just take a couple breaths here in this really open, freeing pelvic opening here. Good. And now I'll let my hands come down if they were on any part of the thigh. And I'm going to inhale my legs together. And exhale, let them come out. Now really working on that butterfly, right? Inhale, bring them together. Exhale, take the knees out. Soles of the feet come together. Inhale. And maybe you notice when you exhale, that lumbar spine appears. When you inhale, legs come together, that lumbar spine disappears. Okay, and I don't mean the spine disappears so much as that curve, that natural curve that's happening. Inhale, bring those legs together, push down and through your navel to the ground, and then bring your knees up. Exhale, let yourself release. 2 more. And then bringing your knees together. Take your feet off the ground. Bend those knees up towards you. Go ahead and take a hug here, right? So I'm going to take my arms around my shins, keep my chin tucked, keep trying to get as much of my sacrum, my tailbone, going towards the ground. So instead of like really pulling myself up from that sacral area, I want to make sure I'm pressing down. And so to do that, I press down with my legs, not so much upwards. Okay, so pressing down, chin stays tucked, squeezing into myself here, helping my digestive system become more active and alert. And then releasing from that, just let your legs come out straight again so that you can let that blood flow in a nice manner that's not being bound up at all. And just here, I want you to just shift from one side of your sacrum, one pelvic region, you're pressing down, and then just shift back and forth with your hips, okay? So not a lot of you is going to move. You might have your legs and your feet will move because they're attached there. Maybe a little bit of your torso too, okay? And then let's get into those hips a little bit more as some of you requested. We'll be getting into shoulders too when we get up a little bit more. But let's go ahead, bend your knees, and let's take your ankle over the knee of the other bent leg and let the other foot off the ground, okay? So you've made a figure 4 here. And let's just take some circles with the legs, all right? 4 in one direction, take 4 in the other. And we're feeling that maybe in this outside hip a little bit more. And then stopping, maybe bringing in the well, it's my right one, the knee that's bent and pushing forward. Bring it in a little bit more. And then let's lengthen that leg and bring it up so that you've got a flat foot here. And take your arms up too. And let your shoulders rise off the ground. Your head comes off the ground. My fingers are reaching towards that foot. Reach and reach and reach. And let myself come down. Arms come down and bend into that knee again. Place it on the ground. And then take your hands out to the side. And then let your hips, knees, legs fall over to one side. And then bring them up with an inhale. Let them come to the other side. Exhale. And maybe you work your neck in this way as well. So coming over to one side, let myself release. Look in the opposite direction. Knees drop. Look back. And then bring myself back. And then I'm going to let my left foot, or the foot that was crossed over, come down. I'm going to bring up my other foot and cross it over right there, right behind my knee. And I'm going to lift that other foot off the ground now and just take some pulses inward here. And just feeling that opening there. And take 4 circles in one direction. Really feeling that pelvis working around for us, going in the opposite direction. And then coming back here, and I'm going to let my leg lengthen up. So I'm feeling that extension through the back of that long leg. And my flexed foot or my pointed foot is going to allow that to happen even more. My arms reach up high. Fingers outstretched. If you want, you can lift your shoulders off the ground as well. And just bring your leg in closer. Arms reach up higher. Feel everything coming into the center of your body. And then slowly lowering your head down. And then your arms come down. And then bend into your knee and take that foot back to the ground. And then let's take our hands out to the side. Let our hips come over to one side. Find that opening and that stretch. Hip flexor here. and take it over in the other way. Exhale when you come down. Inhale when you come up. Okay. Exhale to one side. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale. Maybe getting a little bit of chiropractic pop in there. I just did. Let's do one more set. Exhale. Move with your breath. And then releasing that right leg down. Let's take both knees towards their respective shoulders. So your feet are off the ground. Your knees are coming towards those shoulders. Maybe you take your arms underneath the bend of your knee and clasp in with your fingers to assist that pulling, or maybe you just have your hands underneath the kneecaps and you're bringing in those hips in towards your shoulders. And then extend those feet up so that you're walking on the ceiling. Take your hands to heart center, place your elbows in the knee crease and start to open up wide in that area there into this reclined Malasana pose. This is something that we'll sometimes do with our feet grounded. But this is a good way to do it without maybe putting as much pressure in the knees, but you're still getting a really good opening for the pelvic region. If your feet are flexed and you're kind of pretending that you're grounded, you're going to feel more energy coming through the legs all the way down into the hips, through the legs. And now I'm going to release my hands and take them to ankles or to the outside of my feet into this delicious, luscious, happy baby pose. And you can stay right here. You can play with your feet and make circles maybe in different directions. You can take one leg out and one leg in. And I really want you to play here. Okay, you can roll to one side and the other. And so again, instead of looking at maybe what I'm doing, think about how you can be playful and safely playful, right? Here we don't do anything real crazy, but what feels good for you in your happy baby, you know, maybe a little giggling, smiling. Because babies don't do this and cry, right? Babies are doing this because they're happy, they're exploring their body and what their bodies can do and their movement, right? So you want to extend your legs long and bring them in. One leg, then the other. And then bringing yourself back to just that basic happy baby pose. And before we leave from it, just see if you can make sure that you've curled down as much as you can. I guess the curling, take the word curl out of there, flatten down as much as you can. Your tailbone to the ground, that whole sacral area attached to the ground. Maybe a little bit of leverage there, pulling down your feet and your knees closer to the ground, which is going to open up your pelvic region even more there. And then I'm going to release my hands down and let my legs come up, point and flex a bit here. Letting my feet take rest by not having to have all of that body weight. Think about that, how our feet and all those little bones in our feet support all the weight of our body. Separate your feet just a little bit and let's take some ankle rotations here. Getting ready for when we do stand up and get ready for our different flows that we'll be doing. And then reversing, going around in the opposite way, and just notice how your ankles are responding to that. Good. And then bend into your knees, place your feet on the ground. And whatever arm is closest to me, you're going to raise that up onto the mat, away from your head, roll to that side so that we're rolling towards one another. And we're in this little fetal position here for a moment. Our head can rest on our bicep. And let's do a little bit of clamshells here. Keep your toes together. Just lift up your knee. Open up that hip. There we go. A little more on the hips. Bring that knee down. Bring it up. Inhale. And exhale. One more, please. Good. And now we're going to take the toes up, heel or knee down, and then we're going to lift and switch that out. Then I get toe to toe, knee comes up, and then knee to knee, toe comes up. All right. So just back and forth here, switching in and out. Feel that in your hip. And then coming back to knees together, picking up that knee, leg, and let's just take 4 circles in one direction. You can extend that leg all the way long if you want. That adds more into it if you want. And then 4 in the other direction. You know, like me, I say 4, and sometimes I do 5 or 6. So then let's go ahead and just bring both these back together. Let's get ourselves up from the ground. And before we do the other side, we've got our legs out on one side and you're sitting uneven, right? You can kind of see how that feels. And it's probably not the best place to stay for very long because it does shift your body weight in a kind of awkward position. And if you find yourself in life in that kind of awkward position, maybe not just like this, but something else, remember to rebalance yourself. So we are going to flip to the other side in a second, but let's go ahead and place both hands down just to our side. Take a look down, and then I'm going to press myself, chin and my chest down towards the mat. Bring myself up, arm reaches up, comes back around, touches my toes, bring that hand back around, come back down, and just that little bitty bow. Bring yourself up, arm comes around. Come on back, bow down. So a little bit of work in the side body and in our arms. One more time, bow down, elbows come inward, push away. One more time, let's take that arm around. And then let's go ahead and flip our legs on the other side. And we're going to do the same thing before we go back down onto the side body. So again, feel yourself kind of uneven, right? So we're going to just try to stay straight, but we realize that something doesn't feel quite right. We don't feel quite grounded. We're going to take our hands over here to help us ground a little bit more. That takes a little more support for us. We're going to bend into the elbows, bring them back towards your hips. Head comes down. Exhale. Press yourself up. Arm comes up. Come back around to your feet or maybe behind your feet, depending on where you want to take that twist. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, take that arm back down. Come around. Exhale. Push up. And out. One more time. Come around and down. Bring yourself up and take yourself in that big open, starting to open up in those shoulders. And then let's take ourselves, slide this arm out and come on down, protecting your neck with your side of your head on your bicep there. And one knee stacking on top of the other. Keep toes together. And let's just open up here. And breathing with that. One more. Inhale. Exhale down. And now we're going to take our toes up, and then toe down. So knee to knee, and then toe to toe. Knee to knee, toes are up, toes come down. So we're externally rotating, internally rotating, externally rotating. Bring it on in, feel that. And one more set. And placing knees together. Bring them on up 4 times. Let's take that. And again, if you want to extend that leg out, take it a little bit farther. You can do that. And then reversing, either keeping the knee bent or take it extend. You can see the difference. Always been having the opportunity to add on or take away. Bring your knee down. And then let's get ourselves up and come on to hands and knees. And so now from here, let's go ahead and just take and wag the tail, right? Wagging it around. Happy dog tail. Let's see how happy we can make it. Really shake it, right? There's shaking and there's wagging. Let's go ahead and do this. And aren't we glad that this is a semi-private class? And then from here, let's go ahead and just take hip circles. Okay, so I'm not taking it around my whole torso. I'm just taking my hips and circling them. Okay, and I'm going to reverse that. And that feels really awkward to me. So usually when we do something, we'll start with the side without even thinking. We'll start with the side that's more comfortable. Then when we say reverse, it's like, oh no, I've got to reverse that. All right. And so from here now, one more thing. Let's take full body circles coming all the way around. Okay. Taking your hips and your torso and moving them together. Okay. And then reversing that, noticing if you feel anything a little bit different. Good for our waists here. And then coming back to center. So let's do cat-cow here. We're going to do that with a little bit of rocking motion. So our cow, we move, we look up. And our toes are tucked. And then we're going to flatten to the top of our feet. And we're going to come into cat, but we're going to bring ourselves back almost into like a peaceful warrior or a child's pose here, where our back of our thighs and our heels touch. And then we come up, balls of the feet. Inhale. Exhale. Come on back, cat. Inhale, bring it on up. So let's coordinate now this rocking motion with our cat-cow. Maybe with that exchange of from balls of the feet to the flat tops of the front of the feet, really curling in for that cat. Moving on the cow. 2 more with your breath. And then coming up into our tabletop here. And I'm going to extend my left leg back. And I'm just going to press down into the ball of the foot and just do some little mini pulses here. okay? Or you may just want to press back and hold. Find what is calling you today. We're going to do a little calf openers today too, using blocks if you have them. If you don't, that's okay, because we're getting some of that calf opening right now. All right, now let's go into what we'll name the Evelyn's cat asana. So I'm going to pull up that leg that's extended back. I'm going to reach out my other arm, and I'm going to just rock it back and forth a bit here. And my back toes can be pointed, or I can keep that foot flexed. And I'm being real flexible and really strong here. And then I'm stopping from any movement, and I'm really pulling and stretching here. Like cats and dogs know how to do. They know how to do it. They know when to do it, and they do it. It comes naturally. It's instinctual. And then I'm going to press my hand down and my leg down. And before I go to the other side, I'm just going to take and let my hips do whatever they feel like doing right now. Okay, maybe some figure eights, or so going around and around. Just finding freedom here in our pelvic region. And now I'm going to go ahead and let my back leg, my other leg, come back. That will be my right leg. And I'm going to go ahead, or is it my left leg? Let me think. I think it's my left leg. Let me think. Nope, it's my right leg. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead. Of course, this is where, if you guys wanted to unmute, you could say, no, Julie, it's your left leg. I should know. I just did it. And then come to stillness here. Come high on the ball of that foot. Find yourself really well rooted. If you feel comfortable, go ahead and lift that leg up, point or flex. Okay, whatever feels right for you. Keeping hips in alignment. So I don't want to be coming up like this. I want to keep that hip down. I'm going to let my left arm, my right leg's back, my left arm's forward, and maybe do some rocking back and forth, checking out that I'm trying to put weight into my fingers, not all just right underneath my wrist, coming into stillness, pointing or flexing through that back foot, lengthening through my body. Cat stretch, Evelyn's cat asana. And then I'm going to place my foot down and my hand down. And from here, I'm going to take a block if you have it. If you don't worry. I'm going to place it in between my thighs. All right, so this is just something extra that you can do if you want to. So the thighs are pressing in to that block, and I'm going to bring my body weight forward, maybe walk my hands a bit forward, so that I'm coming into a knee down plank position, squeezing in there. That's good for my adductors to squeeze in there. And then I'm going to just take myself back, bring myself forward into that knee down plank, take myself back, exhale, bring myself forward, inhale, exhale back, inhale forward. And then now I'm going to take myself into just a little bit of a chaturanga here. So exhale, push back all the way, come forward, plank, stay there, or bend elbows back, bring yourself up. You don't have to come too deep, all right? So just come to where it feels right for you. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Weight bearing for our arms, really important. We don't get a lot of opportunity in yoga for weight bearing in our arms. But here's a good one. Down dog's a good one. Let's do one more set here. Your exhale, your back. Inhale. Exhale down. Inhale up. And come back here. Now keep that block there if you have it. If you don't worry about it. I'm going to tuck my toes. I'm going to take myself up into down dog. So squeezing in that block just adds a little extra here for what we just did, the plank and the chaturanga, and also here in our down dog. I'm kind of squeezing into that block. That's going to ignite more into my legs. And then I'm going to come forward into plank. You can take it down to your knees, you guys, all right? And then I'm going to come back. Exhale. Forward into plank or down on my knees. Bring it back. Exhale. Forward plank. Knees are not. Exhale back. 2 more. Keep squeezing into the block if you want to add more here. It's going to also add to your abdominals. And then bring yourself forward. Come to your knees. Come down into that chaturanga. Bring yourself up. Lift those knees. Take yourself back. 2 more times. Forward, knees, chaturanga, up, and back. And taking ourselves back here. Feels good. Go ahead and drop to your knees. And take your blocks if you have them. You don't have to have them. You can keep your hands on the ground. So I'm going to do some demonstrating with blocks, some without, just so you know you don't need to have those, okay? Because we're doing what we usually have done without blocks. But I'm going to take back one of my feet. That's my right one. I'm going to bring it in between my blocks there. And then I'm going to tuck the back toes and lift up into this lunge position, high lunge here. I'm going to take my knee down. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, take it down. Inhale, lengthen. Hands on blocks or on the ground. This just gives us more maybe support, and maybe because some of you might have shorter arms, and so you're trying to do this on your fingertips, where I can have my hands placed on the blocks, and I can take that to any height. Okay, now I'm going to lift up, and I'm going to straighten that front leg. I'm going to take my head down. Exhale. Come forward. Bend the knee. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You guys got it? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more, please. Inhale. Straighten that front leg. Exhale. Head comes down. Inhale up. Exhale. Bend knee. Other knee comes down. Inhale. And exhale. Good. And then from here, I'm going to bring that right knee back, right foot back. Take my left one up. Find myself stable here with my foot right next to that block. Tuck the back toes. Lift up here. Try to find my hips in alignment. And again, no blocks, no worries. Your fingertips are on the ground. Maybe the flats of your hand are on the ground. But again, I like this block because it gives me more stability and give me more height if that's what you want or need. All right, so please work according to what's important and good for you. So here I am stretching back. Hips are trying to equalize. And then I'm going to just bend into that knee. Come up. So this is just a simple exhale and inhale. Exhale. Inhale. exhale. Inhale. One more time, exhale. Inhale. All right, and then let's build onto that. So we're going to come from here and we're going to lengthen that front leg. Exhale down. Inhale, bring ourselves forward. Exhale, bend into the front knee. Take the other knee down. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, come down. Inhale, forward. Exhale, knees bend. Inhale, lengthening legs, letting our head come down on an exhale. Inhale, take ourselves up. Exhale down. Good, you guys. Two more, please. Slow it down with your breath. And then coming back down. Let's go ahead and take that front knee back to meet the right. And you can take your blocks away. Build ourselves up into that down dog again. Push back, tailbone lifts, head, ears are between your shoulder blades here. I'm going to lift my right leg up, okay? Bend it and take it in between my hands, okay? And then the back foot's coming down at a 45-degree angle. So those toes are pointing towards the top left part of my mat, right? And then I've built myself, my lower part of my body into my warrior one. Looks like so far you can pretty much see me. So I'm going to bend into that front knee and raise my arms up and stay here and find your depth. I am going to go ahead and change this so you can see me a little bit better. Find your depth in that warrior one. Right leg forward, left leg, 45-degree angle with that foot, and my arms are up. Okay, so you guys can see me a little better here. So inhale here, and exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, rise. 3 more times, cactus arms. And this is with our knee bent. Here we go into the shoulders here, Chris. And now we inhale, lengthen that front leg, take the bend out a bit, okay? And then exhale, bend into it, take yourself into cactus. Pull those elbows down, shoulders ripen and open, and inhale, lengthen that front leg, shoulders forward, hips forward, exhale, come in, squeeze down, inhale, lift. One more time, exhale. From here, stay with the bent knee, take your hands behind you, interlace here, press down, look up. Lift up. Now take your thumbs together only. Let your fingers spread wide. See if you notice any difference in how much your chest might open here. And let yourself come back. Keep pulling through those thumbs. Yeah. Feeling more muscle fibers in the chest. Open up by taking the thumbs together, fingers outstretched. And then bring yourself up. And any way you want to have your hands, you can either have them on your hips if you want. I'm going to take myself, begin to lower myself slowly down, only halfway though, so that I have a straight spine. It's parallel to the ground. My tailbone is coming back. My crown is reaching forward. And then I'm going to rise up from that. Inhale. Exhale down. Just to that halfway point. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. One more now, inhale. Exhale, down to half. Stay right there. working on toning into your legs and your core, or let your body come down. And maybe your hands come to the ground, or you have them wrapped behind you, lifting up and over, or you have that thumb engagement. I'm giving you guys a bunch of options here. Take what feels good for you. If you're coming forward, let your heavy head hang. You're staying nicely in that parallel spine. You're working into the strength of the lower body and the core. And then I'm going to rise up back to that half and all the way up. Shoulders, hips forward, arms down, release up. Exhale to cactus. One more, reaching, lengthening. Exhale to cactus. Inhale up. Exhale, my hands come down and my front foot, that's my right one, comes back, and I find that down dog. Placing that block in between your thighs will help to ignite those adductors some more if you want, and or not. Okay, staying right here, or practicing into those planks. Come to plank, come to knees or stay up and come down. Push yourself up into maybe some form of Bhujangasana, cobra pose. That can be really low. It can be here. It can be high into up dog, and flip your toes. Take yourself back. Or I hope some of you just hung out in down dog and you said that feels good enough for me. Okay. And now I'm going to leave my right foot down, lift my left one up, bend that knee. Place it between my hands. That back foot comes down, maybe out a little bit more, and it comes to 45-degree angle. Those toes coming up towards the right part of my top right corner of my mat. My left knee's bent, knee and ankle in alignment. Bringing myself maybe to my thigh, hips, and then letting my arms come up into that of warrior one, trying not to dig my toes into the mat, but keeping my feet flat and all the toes flat as well. Let's do 4 times here. Lengthen and exhale, cactus. Look up, pull back, squeeze shoulders. Inhale, exhale, running through the chest. One more. This is all with breath. And now we lift and we lengthen that front leg. Hips are forward. Let's do the same thing, but this time our lengthened leg matches the lengthened arms. The bent knee matches your bent elbows. Looking up, that's an exhale. Inhale, lengthen everything. 4 times here. Maybe taking that breath out of your mouth. I think that was 4. I'm going to do one more. Knee stays bent, arms lift up high here. And then let my hands come down, interlace in the opposite way. Fingers all interlaced together, pushing down, squeeze through those shoulders. It's a good one here, Chris, too, for just squeezing into those shoulder blades, letting your heart expand and open, and maybe looking up. But not maybe breathing for sure. Taking yourself in an upright position, taking the thumb, cross it differently, spread your fingers out. Feel that already, really igniting into the shoulders, and then let your heart come up. If you like, fingers and hands downward and outward. Thumbs really strongly gripping here. Rising up, Let your hands release. Whew. Take them to your hips. Take yourself on an exhale down to a flat spine. Okay. Bring yourself up. Inhale. Exhale. Take it on down. Flat spine. Inhale, rise. 2 more times like this. All the time. Paying attention that that front knee doesn't wave in or out, stays on top of that ankle. Now, staying here, just like this, you're going to use this core strength. You're going to strengthen the lower body, or you can let your head come down. If you feel like you've got that core strength to allow that to happen, if you have the balance, your hands can stay right on the hips. They can come down on the ground. They can come onto blocks. They can come behind, interlace, and let them come over. Find what works for you. Find your breath for sure. Let your head, if you've come past that halfway point, let it hangle and dangle. And taking ourselves back up to that half spine, half lift, full spine, half lift, and little by little rising up. How does that front leg feel? Both legs have had to really, arms release, come up 2 times, cactus. Inhale. And exhale. Rising up. Exhale, let's take it on down. That front, bring it back behind you. Find down dog and make that your resting place. Or bring yourself forward. Come to knees or not. Come on down. Slide forward into some type of Bhujangasana, cobra pose, if you like, and then bring yourself back up. If you left down dog, come back and find it. Walk those legs out. You guys just did a lot of really strong leg work there. And now I'm going to walk my feet forward to the outside edges of my mat. Walk my hands back in, toes out, heels in, bend into my knees. Bring my body up. Really good place for blocks or taking hands to heart center. Elbows into knee crease. Remember Malasana on our backs? Man, that felt pretty good. This one is a little more challenging because we are weighted down onto our legs, which weights down into our hips. Before we had our backs to the ground and we could still open the hips. We weren't so weighted. And now I'm going to go ahead and take my hands back down to the ground, take my knees to the ground, open up my knees, toes together, take myself into that extension and find myself in down dog here, forehead to the breath. Sorry, not down dog, peaceful warrior or AKA wide-legged child's pose. Get some breaths here. As you're doing that, I'm just going to change the screen so that you're able to see me on the ground again, because that's where we're going to end together. A couple more breaths there in down dog. I'm sorry, I'm into down dog today in our wide-legged child's pose. And now let's take it into a narrow leg child's pose, the official Balankonasana. And this is Balasana. Legs together, okay? Squeezing inward, hands come behind you, and then come into this really tiny little place. Let your shoulders relax downward. You've opened through the back part of your shoulders. The front are going to rest down. And so this Balasana, this is the official child's pose. The other one is a wide-legged, which feels good too. Here, you may feel a little claustrophobic. It's kind of like being in a yoga ball. It's kind of like being in the womb of your mother. But you're safe. You're grounded. You're secure. And then we're going to go ahead, slowly bring ourselves up. Chin stays at your chest. Come in, up through rounded spine until you're upright. See back on your heels. And we're going to come into a seated position. So whatever works for you, maybe it's Sukhasana, maybe it's Tadasana, maybe it's Baddha Konasana. This is Sukhasana, easy pose. This is Tadasana, diamond pose. This is Baddha Konasana, which is like cobbler's pose. Okay, so take and do whatever you feel like. We're going to do a little bit more for the shoulders here before we end class. Let's just take some shoulder rolls and let's just roll back and not forward, because mostly what we do is that forward motion, right? So just to offset that daily response, let's just take a few going back. And then let's just take and roll. Roll each shoulder and roll or shift our body weight over, okay? Kind of like a little bit of a dance move here. And then coming into stillness, let's raise our arms up, inhale, and exhale, hands come through to heart center. Go ahead and just take a little bow down. Let your chin come towards your chest. Looking at your belly, breathing. Bowing down to that true teacher within you, that guide. Every breath, let the opening in the back of the neck happen a little bit more. Every breath, let your shoulders melt away a little bit more. See those big belly breaths. Feel that expansion even up into the chest. Slowly lifting your head up so that you are chin parallel to the ground. I honor the place in you where the universe dwells. I honor that place in you where there is love and light and peace and joy. For when you are in that place in